Good evening, everybody here and at home. Welcome to our board meeting of September 5th, 2023. Can I ask you all to stand for the flag salute? This meeting is being televised, and recorded for the transcription of the minutes. At this time, speakers wishing to address the board this evening should turn in completed speaker cards to the board secretary. And Madam Clerk, was there a report on what was taken in closed session?
No action was taken in closed session.
Perfect. Could I have an approval for the board agenda tonight?
Motion.
Trustee Chin and
Second.
Trustee Musa. Thank you. Okay. So I already read about. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Perfect. Thank you, Claudia. Okay, speakers wishing to address, as we mentioned, the agenda will have the opportunity to address the board on a non-agenda. Please be aware that the provisions of the Brown Act prohibit the board from acting or discussing such matters at this meeting. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per person per topic and 20 minutes per agenda item. I just want to let everyone know that our board, everyone on the board is here tonight, except for our superintendent. French is ill and won't be attending this evening. Okay, so we will not have a superintendent update, but I'm going to look to my colleagues for their trustee communication. Trustee Barbaro.
I have nothing tonight.
Okay. Trustee Musa? Trustee Chin? Okay. All right. I just want to welcome everybody back from the last board meeting, and just to let you know that if you didn't know before that Trustee Dennis Fema has resigned from the board at the last meeting, and so I'm the acting president. Trustee Musa is the acting vice president, and Trustee Chin is the acting clerk. Okay. I just had one comment. After starting school and just making some visits, I am just so proud and so pleased with our ACES and ELOP program that's going on at our schools. They are off to a fabulous start. I have to commend Happy Hall on coming in to Lomita Park and starting the ACES. It has been fabulous. So just kudos to all of them. So just wanted to make that comment. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second? Thank you. Okay. Trustee Musa seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So now we move on to our district business. It's an approval of the revised job description, Director of Student Services and Special Education. Claudia, thank you.
I will take this one since Superintendent French is not with us tonight. This is to revise our current Director of Special Education's job description to include also student services. As you may or may not know, she oversees the counselors. She oversees all the 504s and 80, yes, compliance. And so this would just tie up any loose ends to allow any, just a name change. There is no financial change into this job description. It's just a name change, which allows her to oversee all of that she basically has already been doing.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, quick question.
Trustee Musa?
Yeah, is this working? Oh, So just to clarify, wasn't it in the past, it was like that before? And then
That is
we made,
correct.
and then we made the change, and then we're going back to that same title?
Correct.
Okay.
Just
For,
with the number of 504s, we have found that it needs to be necessary.
so remind me, when we changed it from special education and student services, who was doing the student services? I'm just trying to label. Terry.
Correct.
And Terry's doing curriculum, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
And she oversees the principals as well.
and assessments, okay, all right. But, okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure, because I think we've seen this before, so, okay.
Yes,
all right,
this is the way the job description used to be
Okay.
before.
Yeah, the only difference is the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, that was eliminated.
Correct.
And it's called Director of Educational Administrative Services. So it's the
Correct.
title that changes.
Correct.
Okay. Can we go for a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the approval of agreement MESD 232433 Claremont Partners and CalPERS.
Thank you, President Ferrario. This is a follow-up to the last board meeting when we had the presentation from Devin Devine and Claremont Partners in regards to the study that we conducted about the potential exit of CalPERS for our medical health benefits provider. The results of that survey the results of that study were not favorable for the district as far as large savings. It was only about a 6% savings for members and for the district, but then there would be the potential negative impact for any retirees that potentially could lose some of their healthcare providers, so doctors. 40% of those doctors were not listed in the new plan versus the current plan. So we don't know exactly how many would lose, but we know that there would be a potential for that. So the district is not bringing forward a recommendation to exit out of CalPERS at this time, but we are bringing forward a recommendation to continue work with Claremont Partners and conduct a survey and further study to better position ourselves in the future for a potential exit out of CalPERS. With this study, we would survey members, CSEA and MEA, and get more information about why they choose specific healthcare options, why they're choosing not to elect to use our benefits, and why they're only using single plan membership. So we would delve into questions like that to better understand some of the decision-making and to potentially offer better options for our members. And then that would also give us more information about being a potential better client for other healthcare providers. There were some that did not provide a proposal because of the way that our membership is configured with our members, our healthcare benefits. So this survey would help us to understand that and to position ourselves potentially for an exit in a few years. We would not do this potential exit next year. We would do it in 2 to 3 years after this survey, and changes could potentially take place. We don't want to go out and get RFPs every year. That's not something that is cost effective or makes any sense. So we would do this, make some improvements to our healthcare options, and then look at potential bids for a potential exit in 2 to 3 years is what the plan is after the survey results come in.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So this motion really is to do the survey?
Yes.
Yes, the motion is to conduct or contract with Claremont Partners to put together a survey specific to Millbury Elementary School District and its members to better understand the choices that they make and to see if we can offer better choice options for members as regards to healthcare, and then also to address some of the questions and concerns that came in from some of the potential healthcare provider, like CalPERS, right? The CISCs, the other companies that do take on these medical benefits as a provider.
Any more discussion, Trustee Musa?
So I think you should take a motion and
That's
then
what
discussion.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I mean, if we.
So do we have a motion?
Sure, I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, but I have.
Yeah. And now
Yeah,
we'll
now
do some
discussion.
discussion. Yeah, and then we'll do a roll call vote. Discussion. So trustee Musa?
Yeah, I get this survey, but after the presentation last time, it wasn't very hopeful. I mean, it didn't look like we said there's not a cost savings. It's not good for our retirees, and we're looking at 2-3 years. So whatever survey we do now, 2 to 3 years from now, we might have different staff, different things going on. So, to me, it's like, it's not like, I mean, it's not hopeful, so why even deal with it at this point? So my concern is like, let's just hold off and then until something better out there comes out that will be worth our time. But in the meantime, right now, it's not the employees that are now, it's the retirees that I worry about.
Trustee Shin?
I agree with that point. I think if we're looking at another 2-3 years before we're looking at providing another RFP process, I'd rather wait until we get closer to that time frame. It's not a ton of money. It's $5,100, but I also do know we're in deficit spending. So I want to be mindful and careful about, every little penny. Some of these surveys, we could probably even do ourselves quickly and not maybe as exact, but we could probably put together a few questions ourselves, for no cost, and then go back in a couple of years when we're closer to the RFP and maybe go through a more formal process. That would be my thought.
Just to address that a little bit, one of the reasons you do the survey now is it takes time for some of these changes to take place. As far as options that employees could take, it also gives us an idea what's important for employees as far as healthcare benefits. And then to address, yes, we could do that ourselves, but our bandwidth at the district office is very thin, so it would be a challenge for us to put a survey together that would have a meaningful questions and meaningful assessment of what the employees are interested in. So those are just responses to those two comments.
Trustee Barbaro?
Yeah, so I'm looking at a different option. I know that CalPERS is really difficult. We were told by several staffs over the years that it's too difficult to pull out of CalPERS. So my question is, have we looked at it, the opportunity to maybe subsidize our employees with health insurance a little bit more than what we're doing right now?
Yes, we do that every year through the negotiation process, and that's going to be one of the main things we're going to be looking at. And even if we do increase our contribution for our health benefits, it's still, the rates were favorable for the majority of the plans that the members were a part of. So the savings really was with the members. There were a lot of savings as far as if you had Kaiser, your rates went down. Your copay went down. So there were a lot of little intricacies in this study that were beneficial, not hugely, but incrementally. And so my fear is CalPERS rates are still going to continue to rise. And we do that. We do address what our contribution is every year in negotiations process with our unit members.
Trustee Chin?
I would rather address the point that Trustee Barbaro made and what I've heard from Claudia regarding some of our benefit packages. I'd rather spend the money on trying to look at and do a comparison about how our benefit package compares to some of the neighboring districts so we can understand if we're being competitive and what sort of changes we might want to make to that, which I think will address some of the issues that you were talking about, Ralph, regarding sort of what changes we could make that might actually change our staff's, appetite for participating in some of our benefits.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather go in that route and see
Okay.
what we can do in terms of benefits, what our budget allows us to do. And then, it's negotiations, but that's a route that we can explore.
And if we're not looking at changing anything for, Ralph, you said 3 to 4 years or 4 to 5 years, whatever, down the line?
Depends on the landscape and how things change and how rates change, but the advice from Claremont Partners was this, and their experience, you typically don't go out for RFPs every single year because you want to give some time for any changes you make to your benefits packages and what you offer employees to take effect. And so that's why he recommended not going out every single year. But if we do a survey, if we get information about what's important to our members, then we could potentially look to make some changes within to make it a little more appealing to them.
And so the survey would take place like immediately?
There would be some time to formulate questions and to get it out there, but yeah, it would be this year and before fall is over.
So what I'm thinking is if we're not looking at doing anything for another few years, that maybe the survey should take place at a later date rather than right away now. So I concur with the trustees that maybe now is not the time, but we need to take a roll call vote. So trustee Barbaro?
Well, I'm gonna vote that we put a hold on it, but we revisit it.
Okay,
If we could please revisit this.
okay. Trustee Musa?
So I think we need an actual yes or no.
Oh, yes
vote,
or
and
no.
then-
It's a no.
And then we can
It's a no.
we can get
It's a no.
direction
That's a no,
later
'cause
to engage in a study later on.
Okay,
That's a no. I'd like to revisit this.
Yes.
okay.
I'd like to revisit this.
Okay,
Because
trustee,
this is really complicated. It's
Yeah,
been
it's-
complicated for 10 years. It hasn't changed at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a no.
trustee Chin?
No.
Trustee Ferrario, no. So motion fails. Okay, moving on to the approval of revised job description, supervisor of behavior services.
Thank you
And
very
that
much,
is-
President Ferraro. With the recent addition of a board-certified behavior analyst, our current supervisor is actually able to do the job that she was hired for and become a supervisor, as she spent most of her time last year being the BCBA. And with that, we realized that she then needs appropriate amount of time to prepare to then supervise people underneath her. And so what we have put forward is changing her amount of work days from 185 to 200 days. This allows the supervisor time to prepare for each new school year, including staff trainings, as well as assist with ESY preparations at the end of the school year. So this is a recommended action that the Board of Trustees approve the revised job description for supervisor of behavior services as presented.
Thank you. Should we go for a motion, a second, then discussion? You can ask for a or do you want to ask for a clarification now? Go ahead.
Sorry, I know this isn't person-specific, this is just job description-specific. But who is serving, and is it Carly?
No, Brittany Frederickson is our current supervisor of behavior services.
Oh, okay.
And she held the position, this same position last year, but we did not have a BCBA in place. And so she truly served primarily as the BCBA and was not able to do the supervision that's listed in her job description. Christina took all of that on.
Okay. Sorry, and I'm not good with acronyms. Can you give me a BCBA?
I was just going to ask the same thing.
I'm like,
Karen.
oh no,
I was
I'm the
just
only
gonna
one that
ask the
doesn't
same
know.
thing.
what a
And I'll give you what it means, and then she can break it down probably truly what they do. Board Certified Behavior and Analyst.
Yes, and the BCBA serves minutes on the students' IEPs, as well as looking at adult support and how that is utilized in the classroom. So some of our students do require an intensive need adult support in order to access academics. And so they look at that, but they don't just look at it, they have to assess for it. And those assessments are ongoing because we are also making sure that we have FADE plans for every child. So we are ensuring a least restrictive environment for IDEA.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to take a motion and a second first before discussion. So do I have a motion to approve?
A motion to approve.
Great, and a second? Thank you, Karen. So now discussion. Can I open it up to the trustees? Are there any discussion on this topic?
My question would be on the salary page. Yeah, on the salary page, it still shows 10 months, so I'm not. really-
Correct. Yeah, the number of days increased, but it doesn't make her fall out of that. She would still have all of the month of July off,
So all we're doing is just adding 15 hours to her,
15 days,
15 days. Okay.
correct.
All right, and salary-wise, how does that,
That is there, the increase is that it's now 15 more days paid than it was before.
15 hours.
15 days.
Days.
15 days?
15 days.
Yes.
185 to 200, correct?
Right, so what was there before was for 185 days, and now she does. I don't know if it's appropriate to discuss. Yeah, it is a very minimal amount.
Okay.
Sorry,
Is it just
No,
prorated?
we're not looking for numbers, but I'm just saying, you know, if I was working an extra 15 days with no increase in my salary, like, it's just,
She is making more because there's more days.
And it's just based on like a proration to get,
Correct, I mean, I'm sure Ralph can jump in that part a little bit more, but, right, how it works is they just calculate days into however many paid days.
Right, so it's on the supervisor salary schedule, and so it's the same salary schedule as the other supervisors, but the total pay is different because of the proration of 10-month employee versus the 12-month employee. So that's why you see a difference in the steps.
oh, okay. But in terms of the change in salary, it's just, or is there a whole change in the level as well, or are we just prorating up?
Just prorating based on the number of days that they're actually working, and it's the same daily rate as anybody else that's on that same salary schedule.
Okay, and now it also moves this position from a different schedule, is that right, to be on this classified supervisor director schedule?
She was on that salary schedule last year as well, but just at 185 days.
Okay, that's it. So it
And
doesn't change anything.
We did change it from an hourly rate into a yearly rate because we felt that that was more appropriate and in alignment with the rest of the way that the salaries are listed on this salary schedule. So prior to this, you saw a yearly salary for everybody else and an hourly rate for that position, where we decided it would make more sense to have it a yearly salary, but prorated based on the number of days versus everybody else.
So there's zero change to any benefits or treatment of anything other than purely just grossing up to 200 days versus 185?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
I just had a couple questions. So how long has this person been in our district? 2 years? This is her second year?
This is her second year.
Okay, and Christina, you've been doing this work prior to her?
No, we've been doing it collaboratively. So in order to support safety care, it does require a certain amount of trainers. So now she's able to fully support safety care just within her division on the ground every day with, and then in terms of looking at the adult support for students, she was supporting with that along with myself and our program coordinator. But she was involved heavily with all of these things. However, because she had to serve minutes on IEPs as a BCPA, she did need a lot more support, and the team came together, as we always do, and support each other.
Okay. So I just have to just look at the salary schedule for classified positions, and I'm not minimizing supervisors or directors at all. I know you all work extremely hard, but when I look at these salaries, and I've received just this afternoon many texts and many phone calls from people that can't even believe that there are employees in our district in supervisory positions who are not even close to this salary. And I have a hard time, even though it's probably minimal in the dollars and cents. I'm glad that it will take some pressure off of special ed. However, I just need to be a voice for those positions out there that have not ever been considered for salaries like this. And like I say, not to minimize, but we have so many new people in these categories that I just think we have to be sensitive to that. And I'm just speaking publicly about that so that my people in the community understand that, yes, we do support the other people in our organization. Anybody? Yes, Karen?
Sorry, I just had a question. I also noticed, now that you mention it, we had a conversation about this salary schedule, that there's a difference between directors and supervisors. And I noticed that this schedule has changed over the last year with a number of supervisor positions on here, which were all meant originally for director positions. I just want to make sure we are reconciling some of this stuff that was discussed, I think, a year ago. Do you recall that?
I'm not aware, I mean, obviously Superintendent French, that's probably something that you had, but there's no changes to anything else on this. This has been in place, what you're looking at
Okay.
before you, so I wouldn't be able to speak to that. Like, there was absolutely no other changes except for what we did in the column of the supervisor.
Yeah, there were a couple of discrepancies, I think, that we discussed before, and when you brought up that there are other supervisors, is that right?
No, what I'm saying is that if you look at these positions, there's only a couple that are not new to the position. If you look at maintenance and operations, that's because of a retirement. HR that's a new position of 2021, I believe. Child nutrition, 2021. Technology, 2021.
Child nutrition was always there.
Okay. And then the supervisor behavior services, and that's just 2023, I guess, or 2022.
But always the same, that was the position that Denise held.
Yeah. So I just have to be honest, and that's my own feeling, because I think, not to minimize, we need everybody to work together in the district for sure. So we all need each other. But I think as Trustee Chin had mentioned, that we are in deficit spending. And so even the $5,000 or this, it all adds up, and that maybe, maybe this isn't where even at 10 months, so we add, that person to 15 more days. I guess that will make a huge difference for the special ed department.
Not just special education, but she is supporting our general education teachers as well. So we're working alongside with some of our PLC groups and PLT, and we have one of our first trainings in terms of behavior support at Green Hills, actually scheduled for October, coming to Green Hills. But we are supporting our general education teachers as well to collect the data to support students with their behavior early on, so that way they don't require special education. So that is going to be a bigger piece of her work moving forward. It will not only be in special education, but will be serving the larger community. And we're working with our principals around that. But now we have the opportunity to do that with this work because of the BCPA and pulling her out of some of that IEP service minutes. So that is sort of the grander vision, and that is our hope to do. And with the additional days that will support, it also supports ESY. And I want to note that ESY is for our students who do have some bigger behaviors, and that can be a tricky time for them as well. So having her to support would be amazing. We're also bringing back students from non-public schools, and they typically come back in summer. So that's also some of the rationale behind the additional days.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Musa.
Yes. I guess I'm not questioning the role and the position and all that stuff and the need for it, but because out of transparency, it's been a while since we visited our salary schedules, and I think it's only appropriate, maybe you can bring it as a agenda item, just for a discussion and kind of overlook at what we're doing, and kind of just, because it's been a while since the board has looked at the salary schedules. I'm not saying, I wish we can pay everybody all the amount of money we can, but anyway, just it's good for us to update and be transparent to the community. If you got calls or somebody's, I don't want anybody in the district to think that they're not good enough to.
Yeah, all of our salary schedules are posted on the
Yeah,
website under
yeah,
Human
but for us-
Resources.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna go do that. So we can have a discussion just to be out of transparency, and people can watch it and just know that we're not favoring, certain titles and directors.
Is this on the special ed? I went on our website today, and I saw some positions that were there that haven't been taken off yet that are no longer here, so I noticed that. But I didn't see that this position was listed under staff. Is it on the website? It is? Okay.
I'm gonna head that one over to Jeff. I don't.
Everything should be there. There were some old links to an old student services website from 2019 that was supposed to be suspended. If you found it today, thanks for letting me know. We'll address making sure that those are removed. You should essentially stay in the same view. You should be, everything should look consistent. So anytime you see a website that looks totally out of place or very different, that could be left over from the previous website.
Okay.
I'll follow up, and I might touch base with you after the meeting to figure out how you found it, because we thought we had already replaced it. So thank you for bringing that to my
I
attention.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anybody else? So I guess we better go to a roll call vote. Trustee Chin.
Aye.
Trustee Musa.
Yeah, yes.
Trustee Barbaro. And Trustee Ferrario, no. But the motion carries. 4-1, 3-1, 3-1. Okay, Trustee Frank. Yes.
I think we're all on the same page as what we're thinking. And so I'd like to get that on the agenda later on at the end of the meeting.
Right,
We're gonna
possible
put- we're gonna
future
put something
agenda.
on the agenda.
Yeah.
that we need to talk about.
Good idea.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Okay, possible future agenda items.
Well,
Go ahead, Frank.
Are you guys ready? You know what? A few things, actually, now that it's the beginning of school year, and I would love to get an update presentations in terms of safety, technology, special ed, student services, just to get a snippet of what have been done, the work that's been going on during the summer, and what we're implementing, something new. And so it would be great to do, I know we're going to do school presentations coming up, but I would also like to be consistent in terms of budget, or like a monthly, whether it's special education, whether it's technology, whether it's safety, like once monthly to get an update from the staff to our community of what work is being done and changes, so we can just, I know we have a website, and but I don't expect parents to go and search through the website. So maybe a board meeting, because it's televised, they can watch it.
So just for clarification, I think the request is to have regular department updates.
Yes.
So we can schedule those, definitely. We can schedule those once a month, and we can pick a department, and we can work with President Ferrario on which departments would go first. And then we could have some mini presentations for updates and on what's going on in each of the departments.
And then one more, in terms of events, calendar of events, last year we were able to connect it to our phones. I went to the website and the calendar was empty. So I'm not sure, I know we had a meeting during the summer with the PTAs and school events. So it would be nice if we knew what was going on, so we can, if we have a chance to drop by and visit the schools. So anyway, because I know there's a couple of events going on this week, but it's not on the calendar. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, we will continue that same process. The PTAs and PTOs did not want to meet in person over the summer like we usually do, and so that caused a little bit of a delay in getting everything approved and on the calendar. Once they've all gone through the civic permits process and they're fully approved, then we post them on that district calendar. So we're working on them little by little.
Okay.
Thank you.
No,
I just wanted to mention, and I should have done it during trustee comments.
Yeah, I
but
know, I just thought about it,
There
too.
are two events, because trustee Chin didn't hear about it, and I don't know whether trustee Barbaro did either. But there's an ice cream social,
For the MEF.
MEF, tomorrow at the Shea Center, 5:30, I believe.
I think so.
5:30.
And then there is also
My email said 5:30.
Wednesday, then there's another one.
Oh, with Julie. DeMaio.
Julie DeMaio,
For PBIS.
The special, yeah, yes.
that's Thursday night, right? Shea Center,
No, that,
and 5:30 is dinner, right? Okay. Okay, perfect.
so what time is it at tomorrow? What happened to Julie's email, said something about 3:30?
3:30.
That's for staff.
Because, well, we have back to school
Night at Mills.
night at Mills, so I would have to come for the afternoon one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway.
I just wanted to echo Trustee Musta's point, though, about the calendars being up to date, and not just our PTAs and PTOs, but making sure all of our school sites are, regularly updating those as well, because I think I personally missed Taylor's back-to-school night, and I wanted to make that apology public. I did not know about it. And when I looked on the calendar, I didn't see anything. So my apologies there. And then I didn't want to cut anybody off, but I had a,
Did you have another future agenda item?
okay, I was going to say, I know that we got the CASP test scores back within the last month or so. I'm not sure exactly when they came out, but I would love to get a sort of data update. I know I'm the data queen. Would love to get some sort of, overview of how we're doing. And then PBIS, I know we're going to have that session coming up this week, which will be great. I would love to kind of talk about PBIS more broadly in a board meeting, because I think that it would be great for our families and our community to learn more about that. The ELOP contract is something that is still outstanding. And yeah, I think that's most of it.
Hey, Trustee Barbara.
Basically, pay scale?
Sure.
Pay scale? Pay scale. We'll leave it at that.
Salary,
Salaries, pay scale.
salary schedule.
I think we need a little more information about what that request is. I mean, you just want to know what the pay scale is? Do you want us to bring you the salary schedules? What is it that you want agendized?
I'm going to piggyback on that because I would really like to revisit, and we talked about this several years ago, about our principals. They definitely, their schedule needs to really be looked at. And I don't know, how they've come to meetings in the past. This is before you all. It's been a good, Claudia remembers. And so I really feel badly that, and I've been on the board for 11 years, and so that I haven't done anything, but many of those principals that brought it to us are no longer here for whatever reason, just saying. So I think we really need to look, and I don't know whether that's a future agenda, but I'd like to see that particular salary schedule is for our principals.
Yeah, we can put together some information and we can do a comparison with districts that are similar in size and funding. And we can show you what the comparison is with surrounding districts as far as principal salary schedule. That's something that we can definitely do either as a board study session, or we can just give you the information in one of our weekly updates if you like.
I think there was a review done during my tenure on principles.
I can definitely put something together, updated for 23,
But
24.
not in open session. It wasn't done in open session.
I
I
can
think it
put a
might have been.
comparison together and I can give you some
Yeah.
comparables with other districts and see where our principal salary schedule stands and how it compares to other districts. That's not a problem.
Okay,
I'll
great.
give you an update on that in one of the weekly updates.
Okay.
Perfect,
Yeah.
thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Yeah, that's a lot. So we're going to adjourn the meeting at whatever time it is.
7:52.
7:50?
It should say approval of adjournment. You do need to take a motion in a second.
Sorry, Claudia.
Motion to approve.
Usually they're all dying to do that one, right?
We
So
did.
do I have a motion to?
You missed it.
I motion to approve.
Second.
Second, third, fourth and fifth.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.